Okay, I guess we'll get started. So, welcome everybody. My name is Matt DeClaire. I'm the president for Benicia Bocce League. We got on the line several folks, some of the board members helping me out with Zoom today. George Castaneda and Zach Van Blake are on pressing buttons for me while I do all the talking. We got a quick slide deck to go through to get you guys the details you need for this season's bocce. Pretty straightforward, not a lot of changes this season. So I'd like to get through the slides and then give you guys plenty of time to ask me any questions you might have. Let's get started. Right off the bat, I want to give a shout out to the champs from last year, the Infernos. Not often, not too big of a surprise. These guys are hard to beat, and they certainly knocked us out handily in the playoffs. And so, congratulations to them. And go over quickly the board of directors. There's lots of the familiar faces with a little bit of position change from the previous year. I'll still be your president for this year forward. George Castaneda is the vice president. John Van Blake is our treasurer. Jenny Castaneda is our secretary. And then we've got our directors, Greg Ritchie, Ron Kane, Scott Reap, Zach Van Blake, Beth Sabo, Steve Pieroni, and Lynn Hannafin as well. And so thanks everybody for the work that we put in to getting this season set up. And so thanks to them. I'll quickly go over our financial situation. So good news is that we've paid off some of the outstanding loans that we had taken on several years ago when we built the new courts. And so that was one of our biggest outstanding liabilities and is going to allow us to start building more of a budget for investment in things like equipment and court amenities. We're in talks with several potential ideas to kind of improve the experience down on the courts. And then we're also looking into getting a refresh on the shell on the courts, which has been kind of a long-standing problem down there mid-year when all the shell seems to blow away around mid-season. And so that's kind of the gist of where we are financially, sitting very well, looking to invest that back into the experience. All right, moving on, we get a overview of our registration. We had 61 teams register this year. That's just too shy of a full roster of 9 teams per division, so that's great. 628 players. And we do have 4 new teams this season, which is great. I'm happy to have everybody involved. I should make a point there. We did have several teams that kind of left the area over the last couple of years, so there was a little more churn than we've had in the past, but I'm happy to be able to still say some new teams that I know that have been trying to get in for a while. I always try to point out my favorite best new team name this year is the Breezy Buccaneers of Benicia. Simply kind of winning on length there and the alliteration. So I'm always excited to hear what the people come up with these new team names. Moving right along, COVID update. Generally, we're back to normal, which is great. We can get able to do away with all the particular restrictions we had last year. And really the only major differences are that you're going to be, we had extra content that we added to the waiver, which all of you have been made aware of at this point. We still are going to ask people to do wellness checks at home, make sure that you're feeling good coming down to the courts, but that's kind of the par for the course in general life nowadays. And we're still going to have sanitizer available. We decided to keep them in the sheds where they're available to you for play, but we don't have to have the big pump thingies pulled out for every match, but they're going to still be available for you to use. So I'm excited to have everything kind of generally back to normal down on the courts as far as COVID goes. I've got a list of key dates for you. Opening day is Sunday, April 24th, coming up here in a couple weeks. That's the first day of matches. And it's going to be kind of the standard schedule that we've had in the past. One of the key important dates is for Capos that the last day you can actually make changes to your roster is May 14th, which happens to be the 3 weeks into the season. And so some people aren't always aware that you can actually make changes to the rosters, add additions and removal of players if need be. and all of the fees are automatically handled, collection of fees for new players, and if somebody drops off your team, then the refund will automatically be applied back to your original charge. We've got some key blackout weekends, which some people often have questions about, but you would have seen them already in the schedule. With the Memorial Day weekend and Independence Day, we black out the Friday through Monday in both cases. So May 27th and 30th, and July 1st through the 4th. We're going to have a tournament this year, bring that back. And so it's going to be a one-day tournament on Saturday, July 23rd. We've got some more information for you about that shortly. Playoffs will be in September again, starting on the 6th through the 17th. We're aiming to consolidate the schedule a little bit this year. Last year, I feel like it was a little bit spread out, and got some feedback, and so trying to make the playoffs a little bit more accommodating this year. And we're also going to have the end of the year party, a barbecue on the 10th, between the end of the regular season and the start of the playoffs. Well, actually, I think it's in the middle. It's in the Saturday that we didn't have playoff games scheduled. But I'll post all of this online, so you don't have to worry about jotting us all down. All these dates will be in a post on the website, and I'm sure that I'll post it up to the Facebook group as well. Moving on, more information about the tournament. As I said, it's a one-day tournament on the 23rd. It's a $100 entry fee per team. You can sign up now, which is mostly just getting your name and email and team name down as a interest list, and we'll be sending out more information as we work out all the details of how the tournament's going to work. But the important information is that it's on that Saturday, and there's the cost, which will be collected at a later date. So benichabocce.org/tournament. You can read more about that there. We'll post more information there later, but it's also has the online form to sign up. And some basic details. And I realize I'm flying through all these. We'll have plenty of time for QA. The shed code this year is 1267. I went down and changed it yesterday and tested it out. I think it's been a while since we actually changed it, but this is the shed code for this year. In general, we try to change the shed code at the end of the season. So we've had some trouble with some equipment disappearing over the winter, so we'll be making another change at the end of this one. I know that several times people ask in sending in emails about that, but to be clear, we try to shut down the sheds for the winter. Some other quick details. We've made some minor updates to the rules, but nothing fairly newsworthy. I know that in the past we've introduced measurement rules with telescoping wands and of the like. Most of the changes this year are semantical and wording and phrasing to make things clear. But you can always go online and check those out. benichabocce.org/rules. Those are fairly readable on your phone, which is handy when you're down on the courts trying to figure out something during game. For capos, benichabocce.org/reschedule is the place you want to go to get matches rescheduled once your team has reviewed your schedule and you can't make it to one of your games. I like to kind of talk through the schedule process a little bit. The idea is that if you can't make it to a game, you go on here, pick the match you'd like to move, and then as a team, you should come up with all the possible alternative dates that your team could play, and the more that you can put on there, the better. So all of those are sent out over to the other team, and they pick one that would work for them as well. So the more dates that you provide, the more likely the other team will be available to reschedule a match with you. I know I've seen some times in the past when people started a reschedule and picked just 2 or 3 dates that worked for them, but it's more likely that the other team is not going to be able to play those dates. So the more options you give them, the better. And then a quick note on air quality. We talked to the city this year about trying to make an official call on whether or not the courts should be closed down when the air quality index gets up too high. And they agreed that it's an important public health safety issue, and we'll be putting out official notices on when things need to be shut down, and similar to fashion and how they do rain out and delays. And so we'll be able to help out making a call on whether or not people should be playing more ahead of time. We'll use the same process as the rainouts to notify you guys of that stuff. So yeah, I mean, now that we're giving you the shed codes, feel free to run down there and grab them and roll some balls. I don't think that the city has gotten down there to refresh the courts like they have, and I'm not sure exactly what date they're going to do that. So, I mean, you might end up going down there and they're going to be working on it, but it's uh, the chances of that are pretty low, I suppose. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. The nature of bocce is that people get down there and get real comfortable, and everybody kind of piles onto the court to check out those close calls. Is part of the excitement of the game, I suppose. But you're right that the rules kind of line out exactly how many people should be down there and who should be doing those measurements. And we don't have any officials on the court to and kind of do enforcement. And so I think that what you're saying is it would be good for the board to send out reminders to everybody. I think that we also need to kind of rely on the capos to get out the word and be enforcement when necessary on the court. And so I'd encourage everybody to read through particulars, especially on measurement, and try to educate your team right off the bat in the beginning of the season. And then let me know if you see that there are bad habits forming again, and we'll try to send out mid-season reminders and recommendations again if need be. Well, I mean, two things quickly. Those telescoping measurement devices that we had down on the courts, those are frankly gone. I don't think I've seen one in a while. I think that they tend to disappear real fast. I think people were putting them in their pockets or something. I don't know. Maybe they're in the bushes. I don't know where they are. But we did have in the rules a that the official measurement is the tape measure, and then if one of the teams were to request tape measure, that's to be the only accepted measurement device. If both teams decided some other measurement, either telescoping or just eyeballing it, then and both teams were in agreement, then you could forego the tape. But tape is always something you can request. Right. Yeah, I agree. I mean, particularly for new teams, it is not clear until they've done it a couple of times what it's going to take to get down there. It's been also on our to-do list to make somewhat of an instructional video that we might put up on the website, outlining and visually showing the process, which would also kind of give people a gist of how long it actually takes. But I'll put that in the reminder email for sure. I'll need to check out the rules specifically. I'm not sure if, off the top of my head, if we did have a restriction on that, but I understand that there's kind of blurred lines between official rules and customs and down on the court. So I'll take a look into that. The city, as it's done for the last since the beginning, has been in charge of preparing the courts at the beginning of the season. They generally do it in sometime in April before we start, and they go down there and regrade. And I think they buy like something like 2 tons of shell and lay it out there and smooth it all out at the beginning of the season. And then from then on, it's the league's responsibility to maintain it throughout the rest of the summer. We've always had a problem with the shell getting thin, usually from the breezy Venetia blowing it all away. But we got in contact with the city, got a contact for their supplier, and we're going to try to, as a league, get a refresh in the middle of the season if possible. I've got my pro mic down here, in case you were wondering. Everybody's got a good setup and work from home times nowadays, right? Yeah, thanks for everybody coming in and participating. And of course, our hotline is always open. Send us an email, info@venishabachi.org if you have any questions, and we try to respond quickly to there. Or you can send us a message through Facebook Messenger, which I've got a couple of over the years. And we'll see you down in the courts, and I'm looking forward to playing again. The weather's already getting pretty nice.